Hello friends, today's video goes out to all the cheaters in speedrunning. You know who you are. Now, like in most sports, speedrunning has a big cheating problem. Oh, and before you ask, no, speedrunning is not a hobby. It's just as important as any other sport. It's gonna be in the goddamn Olympics, for God's sakes. You mean the Paralympics? You know what, mate? Fight me after class. I'm the guy at the back with the goddamn neck beard. You best waddle your ass home before I break your normie fingers. Why do we have to draw arbitrary lines between handy-capable and normie-bodied people? Why can't we let little Timmy compete in the 100-foot sprint in his goddamn monster wheelchair? Oh shit, this video was about speedrunning. Sorry, I got a bit sidetracked there. Now, I've spent this whole week studying cheating with the aim of making this video as informative as possible. Now, I know I have a lot of credibility as a speedrun journalist and runner, so there's a lot of pressure on me to try and make this video as correct and as complete as possible. Now, I know this is a sensitive topic in the speedrunning community, so I'm going to be very careful to not get myself into too much Sonic triple trouble here. But obviously other sports have existed for thousands of years, so what insights have they learned about cheating in that time? Well, not much, to be honest. But there is one idea that they've come up with that I'm actually quite fond of. The idea is that if everyone is allowed to cheat, then everyone is on an even playing field. As it stands right now, it's impossible to know if someone's cheating or not. But if you know everyone is cheating, then what's the problem?
But Turnipp, I think you'll find that only works with real sports. I still don't believe you that speedrunning is a sport.
Well, I respect your opinion to be wrong, but I really don't need pseudo-intellectuals like yourself coming into this chat, alright? I don't need this toxicity in my community. Stay the hell away from me, don't at me, don't talk in my community, I will ban your ass. You don't belong here, this is a bubble. This is a bubble, damn it. Don't pop the bubble. Now, if you're sitting on the fence at the moment, that's my fence, alright? Get the fuck off my fence. You're half in my yard right now, get the fuck out of my yard. You wanna sit on my fucking fence when you don't even understand the woes of my life? You don't wanna hear my life story? You just wanna tell me I'm wrong from the fence? Get the fuck off my fence. See, I wasn't born with goddamn mashing hands, and yet every Contra speedrunner and Mega Man 2 speedrunner are expected to mash well. Do you know how much that hurts? Not being able to play some of my favorite games of all time because I wasn't born with goddamn mashing hands? Now I could accept defeat. Or I could start cheating and even the playing field for someone like me who was not born with the ability to mash. Now obviously this may sound bad, but I have principles, I have a code. I'm a goddamn Ned Kelly, alright? As long as you follow the cheating code, it's fine. Rule 1 of the cheater's code, no tassing. Look, tassing just isn't an art. You kids have too much technology. Tassing can't kill true art forms like splicing. Splicing is always going to be around. When you're splicing a masterpiece out of garbage runs and clips, now that's true art, alright? That's modern art. That belongs in a museum. Tassing doesn't have a place. Doesn't have a place in cheating, alright? Just throw it out. All that work we've done on the coding, throw it out, alright? I'm a programmer, and I'm telling you, throw out the work you've done, alright? It's garbage. Start making splicing tools, alright? Okay, so if I'm going to teach you the art of splicing, we're going to have to lay some structure to this video to make it easier. The things you're going to need to know before you start splicing is you're going to need to know the basics, you're going to need to know the basics of audio, you're going to need to know how to maintain your fake runs, and of course you're going to need the end game to cheating. You can't cheat forever, it's going to come out eventually, alright? Okay, so let's start with the basics. The first thing you need to know is that a splice is simply when you put two different clips together with the aim of trying to make it look like there was no cut. Now this is harder than it sounds. If a game has a loading screen or a cutscene, then this is where you want to splice, okay? Now, you always, and I mean always, do frame perfect splices. This means that the frame you start on will be followed by the correct frame after the splice. Let's just go back to class here for a second. If I have 5 frames of loading, and I splice on the 3rd frame, how many frames of loading should I have? Oh my god, you guys can't know how proud I am that you got the number 2. Alright, I was so worried for you. Okay, this is one of the most important things in splicing, alright? You have to be able to count these goddamn frames, alright? If you guys didn't know, 5 take 3 was 2. I seriously fear for you as a splicer. Now let me show you a clip of a Donkey Kong game where the splicer didn't do frame perfect splices. And there's a splice coming up right about now. Okay, as you can see, that was insanely obvious. There's very clearly a jump. Now I know what you're saying, there's a lot of RNG in Donkey Kong, or the score has to line up. Well, that's no excuse for anything that egregious, okay? If you followed my advice and you only splice on loading screens, first off, you wouldn't have issues where the barrels just get all messed up, alright? It wouldn't be a problem. If you do this method, then you only have to worry about the score, and there's many ways you can get the score to be the same between levels. You could use a cheat device, you could be a mad lad and actually get the score again. If you're a bit of a poser, you could use save states. Try and avoid it, come on, it's way better if you don't use save states. Use a cheat device before you use a save state, alright? Pick up a Game Genie before you pick up the goddamn computer. Okay, so that's the basics of how to hide splices in your video, but your audio is much more subtle and it's much harder to cover up. So depending on the game, the console, all kinds of factors, there may be signs of splices inside of your audio. Now your biggest fear should be that someone cares enough about your run to look at it in a spliceogram. Did I say spliceogram? I meant spectrogram. Don't call it a spliceogram. Okay, so we're going to look at the same Donkey Kong footage that we saw before, but this time we're going to analyze the audio. So the first thing to note is see how the audio looks mostly dead. Now if we switch to a spectrogram, you'll see these little red blippy thingies. That is the technical term, guys. Go ahead and ask any electrical or whatever engineer and he'll tell you that is correct. Trust me. But for real guys, I don't actually know what causes these blips in the spectrogram, but they are a very clear sign that something is wrong. Okay, so the main reason a spectrogram works so good at finding splices in game audio is because of a phenomenon known as the mains hum, which is a 50 or 60 Hertz hum. This is actually the frequency of your mains outlet, and depending on what region you live in, what country, will depend on if it's 50 or 60. That's right, they can hear the goddamn electricity in the wires.
I can hear the electricity in the wires!
Okay, so to better show off this effect, here's a splice I made in Mario 64 at one of the random loading screens. Looking at it under a spectrogram, you can see a clear line of audio where the splice happened. Okay, so this splice was done with no audio fade. If I splice the clip with audio fade, you can see a line of absence in the audio. If you want to see some examples in the wild of this no audio fade splicing, then check out AkiCan's Mario 64 16-star run. See if you can find all the splices in Audacity. I'll also link a page where they list all the splice locations so that you can check. Okay, so let's go over some methods to actually hide splices in your audio. This first method is to simply remove the audio from the video. Now you should know that these days, most people prefer it if your videos have audio, but depending on your game, you may not be rejected, but just check your rules first. The second method is also easy. You just simply overlay a second audio clip over the old one to mess up the spectrogram. Just record a after the fact commentary for your video and just make sure to say something during the splice. Splice, 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 splice. Here you can see in the spectrogram that the splice is completely hidden now. Final method in this video that I'm going to discuss is audio processing. The main thing we're going to do is just clean up the audio so that you can't see the splice. There are a whole lot of ways to do this. You can use noise reduction, there are filters that can do this. In my case, I'm going to use a noise gate. You can just look this up though, there are many techniques for this. As you can see, the noise gate has done a reasonable job of fixing up my audio here. Okay, so one of the things you want to do as a splicer is you want to remain as inconspicuous as possible. And this includes how you manage your old runs and how you get new ones. A common mistake splicers make is they delete all their old runs. Now, whether you think your old runs will get you caught, I can tell you, nothing is more suspicious than deleting your old runs, okay? Leave them up, alright? You have to commit. You have to be prepared for it to be up there forever. Don't pull any weird, suspicious shit. If you delete all your runs and someone re-uploads it, definitely do not ask them to take it down, okay? Don't then cite some weird bullshit, okay? You just gotta accept it, alright? Trust me, it's better if you just accept that that run's gonna be up there forever. If you really do want to delete your runs, you have to plan ahead. It has to look like an accident. Okay, so how do you make it look like an accident? Well, if you don't live in Australia and have really shitty internet like I do, then you should be able to stream your spliced runs. If you stream on Twitch and you don't have a turbo or a partnered account, then your runs will only exist for 14 days on the site if you don't highlight it. And if you are a partner or a turbo user, then your video will only last 60 days. Now hopefully that's just enough time to get your run validated. And then you just simply let the time run out and the video will be deleted. Now this technique doesn't work forever. If you're getting really good times, people may start to ask you to start highlighting VODs so they don't get deleted. If you continue to then not highlight runs, people may either get suspicious or they may start archiving videos, which if you wanted your videos to be deleted, people archiving video is probably not a good thing. Now if you use this technique, I would still recommend being committed to those runs. If people archive them, you don't want to do anything suspicious, alright? So at least still commit to it, but this technique will make it a little bit harder. Once people start asking questions like why aren't you highlighting it, you kind of have to stop it. Just play ignorant that you didn't know and then start highlighting them. While we're on the subject of streaming, don't assume that streaming is going to give you more credibility. It won't. You can't just start stream and then instantly get a PB. Alright? You can't even get a PB every stream. Streaming a cheated run is like a performance, okay? You have to think of it like a story. You need adversity for it to be a good story. Now, if you're an absolute madman, then I suggest doing a hand cam on your stream, okay? It'll probably get you caught, alright? I'm not gonna lie to you, alright? It's very hard to do a good ham cam fake, alright? Even if like you're the best and the game is very simple, it's very hard. But I say do it just because it's so fucking funny, alright? I find it hilarious and it actually does give you some good credibility. People don't really check them. It's really good. It's really funny. Now as a splicer, you have to accept that you're going to get caught at some point. Even if you do everything perfectly and it's impossible to tell if someone's a splicer in your game, you have to accept that there may be new discoveries. So we're going to need some end game plans here. If you don't plan on splicing long term or you get found out really fast, then this endgame plan I'm about to tell you is going to work great. Simply create a video about exposing bad moderation on speedrun.com. Something along the lines of, my totally fake run got verified. Or you can make a cheat expose video like this one, ending with you testing some of the methods you've learned or whatever. Just make sure you leave it open-ended. So say something like, I'm going to leave this run up for a year. The best thing about this method is it can be used if you get caught if you act quickly enough, or if you just want to get out of the cheating game with little consequence. Now the only other mad lad crazy enough to use this method unfortunately did get banned from speedrun.com, but the community is actually on his side, so you could argue that with enough outcry he'll probably get unbanned. So if you use this method, you may too very well be seen positively in the community despite being banned. Now the downside to this method is that you can only really do one run with it. If you do more than one run, then it raises more questions than the video answers. Now you could claim it's a report and you were seeing how far you could push cheating. I'm not really too sure, mates. It's kind of early days for this technique. Okay, so if you get caught cheating, let's go over some other methods to get out of it. Now one of my all-time favorite methods comes from the Super Blue Boy Planet community. A runner known as Irreversible Ninja was caught cheating, so he claimed to be a member of speedrun.com staff. Now unfortunately all of his posts and runs have been deleted, so I can't show you any of the original forum posts, but the general method was to claim to be a member of speedrun.com moderation, who was simply posting fake runs to test the admins of game boards. Now this worked great for him and totally didn't backfire. Seriously, I want to see more people trying this. Now the final method I'm going to talk about today is to create a clique. It's hard to take down a cheater if all the moderators are your friend. To do this, simply slowly make friends with all the moderators until you yourself get modded. Then start adding your own friends as moderators to the board, and these guys will back you up no matter what. Now if you don't have many friends, then simply create a bunch of alt accounts and slowly add them to the boards. Well, that's all the splicing tips and tricks I have time to explain in this video. This video has already taken a week longer than any of my other videos. Now, regardless of if you're a cheater, a regular runner, or a moderator, the main takeaway from this video is be prepared for anything. And if you are a cheater, don't be afraid to rebuild your reputation on a new account if you get caught. If you use this tutorial in any of your splices, be sure to tweet them to me at speedruncom on Twitter with the hashtag spliced. For now, thank you all for watching. I've left links to all the runs I mentioned in the description. Stay safe, friends. Thanks again.